If you didn't think the cocktail party was going to make you rage and anger and almost walk out on college football forever, then I don't know how to help you. That's an every year occurrence. We're going to talk about what it means for us. Overreaction show next, Locked On Bulldogs.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? He is Clint. I am Daniel, and this is the Locked On Bulldogs podcast, your team every day. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Thank you so much for making us your first listen, even though it's late at night. Thank you so much for being an everydayer. Yeah. Even though we're only here almost every day. We won't have an episode tomorrow, but you maybe watch this one again. Maybe you go ahead and just listen to this one a second time.
Well, you watch it on the YouTube download. And then the audio. You watch
and then the audio download. See if it changes from place to place. Clint, it's our favorite episode of the week. It's Saturday evening, which means it's time to overreact. And if you think we weren't going to overreact, if you think we don't have positive things to overreact with, and if you think we don't have negative things to overreact with, then welcome to the show, because it's clearly your first time here. Why don't you hit that subscribe button? Follow us on whatever podcast platform app you have found us on. And let's talk about the cocktail party, Clint. I would like to, if I may, play the role of executive producer for a moment.
Go right ahead.
People they don't like the banter, Clint. They like for us to get to it. All right, so let me tell you what we're going to do here today, people. I would like in the second segment to talk about some positive things that we saw.
Okay.
So I'm going to bring it back around and then talk about what I want to talk about the first time. See, I'm going to do this. This is a real pro move. just wait for it. Go ahead. Hold. I want to talk about some specific positive things that we saw. Some guys that stepped up, some guys that played well.
Yeah.
I'm going to make you wait till the third segment to hear me talk about Carson Beck, because we're going to talk about Carson Beck.
Oh,
we're going to talk about him in the third segment. If you'd like to hear us talk about Carson Beck, why don't you hang on around till the third segment, because we have things, very direct things to say.
Specific and direct.
But I'd like to start with this, Clint.
Okay.
Georgia beat Florida on Saturday, today. Okay. But it was more than that. Okay. It's not that this Georgia football team beat that Georgia football team. No. It's not that this set of players beat that set of players. What we saw on Saturday was categorically and conclusively.
Yeah. Ooh. I like it when he talks.
Proof that one program is not equal to the other program. You understand? Like, these two things are not the same.
No.
At all. What you saw was a program being held together by duct tape and prayers, and another program that has been built systematically and intentionally over time with longevity and continued success in mind.
Yeah.
Clint.
One is like a Hooters restaurant chain that is held together on the desperation of old dying men.
Well, we made it to 3 minutes and 30 seconds, folks, in the overreaction show.
That's what Florida,
not a sponsor could be.
Could be, but they're a dying franchise and they're a dying business model held together by the hopes of dying men. And another program is built upon the foundational hard work of developing young men into great men and sending them off to be the best in their profession on the best playing field in the entire world. The two are diametrically opposed.
Let me start here, because I want to extrapolate on this point, because it's worth something. Yeah, this is not just throwaway talk.
No.
Don't let the whiny, complaining, excuse-making Florida fan that you're going to read over the next couple of days and listen to. And by the way, Georgia fan, just let it wash over you. Like when the excuses start flowing, okay, it's like just channel your Alabama 2021 Indianapolis and let the excuses just rain down on you. When you hear those things, don't let them distract you from the fact that, Clint, do you know who the third string quarterback on Georgia's team is? He is a former 5-star Power 5 starter who was productive and played a lengthy period of time as a starter in a Power 5 program with production after coming out of high school as a 5-star prospect. That's Jaden Rashada. That is the 3rd string quarterback on Georgia's roster. Now, remember how I said these two programs are not the same? The 3rd string quarterback on Florida's roster is a Yale transfer whose name is Aiden, spelled Aidan.
Adon. Adon.
Okay, Florida. Moan and groan and whine about how your quarterback got hurt. By the way, that field in Jacksonville is a monstrosity. Prayers out to DJ Lagway for a speedy recovery.
Yes, and amen.
It is ridiculous that we're still playing on that field.
Let it be stated, Locked On Bulldogs official statement is make it a home and home. Stop with this crap. Okay.
It's ridiculous, and Jacksonville's not doing themselves any favors by putting the worst turf in college football out every single year. But when you start complaining about that, Florida fan, know that it's your program. It's your fault. Georgia's got guys for days at all these positions. And so before you whine to me, maybe look in the mirror and say, what is it about my coach that makes a Yale transfer, redshirt freshman Yale transfer, my 3rd string quarterback, whereas Georgia's 3rd string quarterback is a former 5-star Power 5 starter who would have been perfectly capable of stepping into that game and doing something serviceable. Also, if you're going to complain about having to play with a Yale transfer at quarterback,
what should they do?
What about the fact that we had to play the whole game with Carson Beck as our quarterback? You don't hear us making excuses, but we had to have Carson Beck as our quarterback the entire game. And so, listen, get in line.
We weren't down the most explosive offensive player on our team for 3/4 of the game. We weren't down our starting All-American right guard for the entire season. We weren't down defensive linemen we weren't down 2 safeties, 2 starting safeties
in the first
half.
Yep.
In the first half. We didn't have any of that to come through, No. It's absolutely ridiculous. These two programs are in absolute different directions. First time since you've all been alive that Georgia has won 4 in a row. First time. And I told you last week, get ready for this snowball avalanche to go. What Steve Spurrier was to us, Kirby Smart and UGA is about to be to every Florida fan on the face of the planet. It's not going to stop at 4, 5, 6, 7. It's going to keep going. Kirby hates this team. This is the least competent offense we've had in 4 years during this win streak. Okay.
We gave you the ball 3 times. If you would have caught it, you could have had it 5. And what were you able to do with it?
What were you able to do?
Georgia's won 4 out of the last 4, Clint. Georgia's won 7 out of the last 8, Clint. Georgia's won 10 out of the last 14, Clint. Georgia's won 26 out of the last 50, Clint. Georgia's won 57 out of the last 103, Clint. You don't, that's the whole series, by the way. You don't have to look far because literally every metric will tell you, big brother, little brother, these programs are not the same. And if you're a Florida fan, I can't help your crappy life decisions that led to you cheering for that dumpster fire that is the Florida Gators. Good luck with Billy Napier next year because you're going to give him a contract extension after. Well, what's he supposed to do? Because his quarterbacks got injured and he didn't have anything to do. And so you're going to be rolling in this game next year with Billy Napier against Kirby Smart. And you look me in the eyes and tell me that you really think you have a chance in that game.
You don't. You don't. That's the problem. We are 7-1. Winning this year is all that matters. I don't care about anything. Look at every game. Look at the game that I have eyeballs on right now of one of the better teams in the SEC not being able to do that. So winning is king. All I care about is winning. We beat Florida. We crushed their souls. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to come back after this, talk about some things that are exciting that we saw that was good. Third segment, we're going to talk about Carson Beck and how bad he is. But first, these. Daniel, I want to let you know about our favorite. One of the, well, I shouldn't say our absolute favorite, but one of our favorites, because if you were down in the cocktail party, we told you to go over to 5 Hour Energy and go ahead and get up for the cocktail party by having this in your pocket, in
It's
your
our
system.
favorite energy drink, I'll tell you that.
It's
not
hands
even
down.
close.
No, there's not a second one that I'd rather have. 5 Hour Energy, fantastic energy drink. You need them all the time. If you didn't have this when you went to the cocktail party, have it after the game to go ahead and celebrate. Go over to your friend's house that's a Florida fan and just spend all night hearing
camp
their
out on his front yard
and just camp there with them. And again, let it wash over you right now. 5hourenergy.com. Get over there right now. You have tons of flavors. You have packaging, ships straight to your door. It's fantastic. Daniel and I trust in them. We believe in them. We know in them. You need to go right now. It's the only energy drink that we trust. 5hourenergy.com. Get over there right now. Place your order straight to you. Daniel, let's talk about some things that we saw in this game that excited us, that was thrilling, and that will continue to remain thrilling and give us hope for the longevity of this season, because we go to Ole Miss, which we got.
We're not ready to talk about that.
Okay, great. Yep. Well, we have some things left in front of us. Okay,
sure,
this is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
let's talk about things that excited us, and I'm going to start with a thing that excited me. Seeing, Daniel, that I don't know can be overstated. It's a thing. I'm not going to name Jalen Walker. I'm not going to name CJ Allen, although I will here in a moment. I'll talk about these guys. I'm not even going to name
Just
Chris
to be clear,
Cole.
He's not going to name any of the 3 players
I just named.
that he just named. He's not going to do it. Don't try to get him to do it, guys. Don't try to bait him into it.
I'm going to talk about a player that you need to watch on first and second down be the drumbeat of the defense, because he is not getting enough credit. Ingram Dawkins is that dude, and he is about to Devontae Wyatt himself into a high draft pick on a team that needs a disruptor and is going to get a dang good one, because I watched him straight up bully through 2 guys and get to disrupt a play single-handedly, just by sheer force and determination. Ingram Dawkins is a dude, and if you don't know why he is so important to this defense and why he has been the only drumbeat every single game for us, and every game he has gotten better, which I can't say that about everybody on this team. Everyone on this team, there have been ebbs and flows and valleys throughout. He has just
say that about hardly anybody on this team.
Yeah, that's a great point. He has stair-stepped his way. Ingram Dawkins is the dude, and watching him on first and second down, and then on third down, watching him keep the pocket up there while the rest of the guys come around is a thing of beauty. Ingram, thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you.
Ty Ingram Dawkins. I am going to talk about Chris Cole, though, Clint, because I feel feelings when I watch Chris Cole play football. He is long. He's athletic. When he drops back into pass coverage, he has got athleticism and cover skills for his size and physicality as a linebacker that just don't make any sense, Clint. I think there's a chance that Chris Cole might be the best linebacker on Georgia's roster right now when all is said and done. And we're talking about a roster that is absolutely loaded with NFL talent. CJ Allen, Raylan Wilson, Justin Williams next year. I mean, obviously that guy. Jalen Walker, even though he doesn't necessarily play that position at Georgia, you see it across the board. But Chris Cole, I mean, you're seeing him more and more. He's finding his way onto the field. He's finding his way into these packages, and I'm just telling you, when 18's on the field, he is a disruptor. He is creating havoc plays. He is making positive plays for this Georgia defense. I want to move over to the offensive side of the ball because I can't. When this play happened, I literally made a mental note of it and said, I'm going to talk about this on the podcast because I don't think it's overstating it to say that I think it saved Georgia's season. When Dylan Bell made that juggling catch, when Carson Beck threw a laser beam off the wrong shoulder, missed him completely and threw it way too hard for the pass that it was. had a simple little slant route completion, and Carson Beck almost, ball pops up in the air, and it looks like this is going to be yet another interception as Georgia's about to score a touchdown to take control of this game. They're going to turn it over yet again. Dylan Bell makes a circus, miraculous, insanely difficult concentration juggling catch to come down with that football. It was a simple 6-yard completion, Clint. But I think it may have saved Georgia's season. I thought Dylan Bell was absolutely nails tonight. I love him with the ball in his hand.
Yes.
He made a lot of really great catches and did great things with the football. I thought overall the wide receivers played really well. Arian Smith continues to make big plays in critical moments of football games. And Clint, how about all 3 tight ends?
I was just going to say, let me pontificate over the beauty that was watching Yurosek, Delp, and Lawson Lucky block. Not only did they have an incredible that catch by Lawson on the sideline where he got, I don't know how he got any body part down to make it an actual catch on that sideline, but my gosh, that was monumental in the flow of this game.
Huge.
That Bell completion was one of the best plays in the entire season for the point of the game that it came in and how ridiculous. But that play from Lawson Lucky might be the second most important play of the game. That wasn't a touchdown. It was absolutely, he had an incredible play. Delp, there was that play call to Delp, by the way, really quick.
Yeah.
Standard operating procedure every week. If you don't like Mike Bobo, you don't know anything and stop talking. Okay.
Mike Bobo is freaking cooking. We'll get to it in the third segment because I think it belongs with the Carson Beck conversation.
He is doing amazing things in spite of Carson Beck. That 2-back play action, motion outside, Oscar Delp, third option coming out of the backfield for that get close to that was a thing of beauty in the red zone. It should have gone for a touchdown. It was so close to going for a touchdown. Oscar Delp, Yurosek, and Lawson Lucky, even on that Phillips touchdown where they were out in front blocking, they showed out. This was the best game. Every touchdown or every tight end in this game should have graded out as an A. That whole entire group was on point this game.
How about Cash Jones in this game?
Yeah.
Cash Jones played an unbelievable game, start to finish. Obviously, the ETN injury, Georgia is just as thin can be at running back. Good Lord. Dwight
we
Phillips,
had 2 running backs.
Learn more of the playbook so that you can get in the game more. Like, I can't emphasize this enough. Do we have 2 running backs? Cash Jones, Frazier and Cash Jones. Like, this is it right now. Obviously, hopefully ETN will be back, but Georgia got to turn right around and play at Ole Miss next week. I wouldn't expect a ton of workload from practice in ETN. And let me just spoil it for you. When asked about it, Kirby Smart will say, we're going to have to see how he does. So you're not going
Kirby,
to know.
I saw him not play in the second half that much. What's his
he would have been able to go. He would have been able to go in an emergency, but
we really needed him. He would have been able to go if we needed him.
Yeah. All right. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about Carson Beck, and
we're here in the third segment.
You're probably going to like it.
But first, FanDuel, FanDuel.com. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Locked On Bulldogs, Locked On Podcast everywhere. Daniel and I go there every single time. We need to make bets on the game. We stayed away from the line because it's a cocktail party and 16.5. It didn't matter if it get down to 16. It doesn't matter if it get down to 15.5. I'm not taking those points. 3.5, 4.5. Sure, let's play then. But no, not in the cocktail party. We did clean house other places. If you thought Michigan was going to give a fight to Oregon, that was on you, and you haven't been watching college football because they're real bad. You lay the points with Oregon against Michigan, which we could have done, and we did over on FanDuel.com, the official sportsbook. Right now,
FanDuel, listen, put out a line for Georgia basketball season win totals. Put out a line for it. You coward.
Make a $5 wager, win, get $150 in bonus bets right to your account over at FanDuel.com. Make every moment more, the official sportsbook of Locked On Bulldogs. Well, it's come to the point of the show in which all of us get to, in unison, jointly say what we've all been feeling, thinking, and seeing the last 5 games. And it's simply this. Carson Beck is not a good quarterback. Full stop.
I mean, you just let it sit there because, like, that's the reality of the situation. Now,
no asterisks. Jake Fromm light was an insult to Jake Fromm.
Yeah. But like, he's just not good. He is and I'll say this, he makes good plays sometimes. So please don't come at me with, well, what about this throw? Well, what about this throw? You're not hearing what I'm saying. I'm not saying he only makes bad plays. That's not what it means to not be good. When we say he's not good, we mean the cumulative sum total of him is below average.
Correct.
Like, he's not up to the standard of what a Georgia quarterback should be. He is an overall liability to this Georgia football team. Now, I'm not saying that he's not the best option to play a quarterback, because, Clint, we thought we might see a quarterback switch in this game, but we did not, which should tell you the coaching staff does not believe another quarterback on this roster possesses the ability to help Georgia win more than Carson Beck. Correct. They let Justin Fields transfer because Kirby Smart is going to play the quarterback that gives him the best chance to win right now. They let a 5-star sit on the bench while they put in a former walk-on quarterback because Kirby Smart's going to play the quarterback he feels gives him the best chance to win right now. If he thought Gunnar Stockton gave him a better chance to win right now, he would put him in.
There it is.
And if he at any point does, that's when you will see Gunnar Stockton. But if Georgia's going to win this year, Clint, we have to now get to the point as a Georgia fan base where we have accepted the reality that if Georgia accomplishes its goals, if we win an SEC title, if we make the college football playoff, if we advance in the college football playoff, if we win the national championship, all of those things will only happen in spite of Carson Beck and his performance. We will have to overcome Carson Beck on the whole because he is a liability to this football team. You just 11 turnovers.
For the whole year, right? For just the entire year? No.
Narrow it down more than that.
Oh, how about the last 5 games?
11 turnovers in the last 5 games. And yet Georgia keeps winning. Like, it is, first of all, it's unbelievable that Georgia keeps winning these football games.
Yeah.
But they are winning and will have to continue to win in spite of Carson Beck. Because listen, stop thinking that what you saw last year was a thing. Who he is who he is. He is showing you who he is. It's right there in front of you. He is a talented quarterback who can make good throws and who, in the right system, can be a key piece to a winning team. But right now, Carson Beck is trying to be a superhero, and a superhero, Clint, he is not.
You know that guy that you have on your softball league that comes up to the plate and everybody's like, oh, well, the game's over. We need a 2-run shot to win the game. We're going to get it right here. We're all going for happy hour afterwards. Let's go get some apps. And he does so, and he crushes the ball, and he could do all sorts of tricks. And it's like Gary Sheffield playing in your softball league. It's fantastic. But then when you have to face actual competition of a curveball and a fastball that's 98.
Oh yeah.
All of a sudden
he can't hit the crooked pitch. He needs hats for bats. Needs hats for bats. Clint.
That's right.
Bats.
This
cold.
is Carson Beck is the guy that you invite out to do your pro day throws because in shorts and a t-shirt, he's got awesome arm action and it's live and he's got power and he has all those. I'm not saying he doesn't have those.
Yeah, sure.
But when he gets punched in the mouth and when his mind starts wandering, it all goes down the drain. Stetson Bennett, the one thing that we loved more than anything else, that dude had swag. He would pull up on anybody at any time and say, let's dance. Carson Beck ain't that dude. And he's the best option we have right now. Now, that's clear as day. And if you think otherwise, like I did 3 games ago, I would have disagreed with me today. After 3 more games of seeing the same thing, I would strangle myself. I would look at myself. At some point,
you have to accept reality, is what you're saying, Clint.
That's what I'm saying. Except
Georgia fans, maybe not all of you are there. I'm sure you're letting us know in the comments. It's fine.
It's fine.
We all get to places at different rates.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Okay. But this is the one that you need to get there today.
We're trying to help you. This is for your own good so that you don't keep expecting the same guy to do a different thing, right? Some of you have relationships like this.
When he says he will change the 105th time, he's not going to.
Some of you are that guy. So you won't. You ain't going to do it. So listen, that's who Carson Beck is.
Yeah.
It's unfair to you and it's unfair to him for you to keep assuming that he is something that he is not. He can be a quarterback that makes good plays and is a part of a winning Georgia football team. Heck, that's what he is right now.
Literally, we can win a national championship with Carson Beck as a quarterback. I believe that.
Sure.
Is it going to be an easy path? Nope.
No, because we're going to have to win in spite of him. We're going to have to overcome Carson Beck. Now, sometimes, like in the case of that Alabama game, we overcome Carson Beck with more Carson Beck. Like that's the irony of this guy is he can be his own antidote sometimes.
Yes, he is a freaking lizard biting his own tail off sometimes and then regrowing it. It's the weirdest thing in the world.
Just so that he can bite it off again and maim himself yet again. Like
what are you doing?
Nobody bounces back from Carson Beck screwing things up like Carson Beck does. The problem is that nobody screws things up so that they can bounce back like Carson Beck does either. Georgia fans, just settle in. And settle into this. This is the second point of this. Mike Bobo. There it is. Okay, get back there.
Is the best offensive coordinator. I know we had Todd Monken. He had Stetson Fleming Bennett IV. He had Jorge Pickens. He had tight ends galore. He had running backs galore. Mike Bobo is working with vinegar and salt and 3-week-old potatoes.
And he's making lemonade.
He is giving us a 5-course meal. Y'all, his play calling, when it wasn't working, and he went to a freshman who hasn't touched the ball all year long. Okay. When he went to Dylan Bell, when he went to the screen game on third and way back there in our own time, and we needed those 6 yards, all of a sudden that first down for that screen worked really well and nobody was complaining. All of a sudden when Frazier is making yards, all of a sudden when Cass Jones catches one out of the backfield and skirts up for that touchdown, all of that is in spite of Carson Beck because Mike Bobo is the best offensive coordinator that we've had under Kirby Smart. And I know we've had Todd Monken. Go fight with somebody else. And if you don't think he's great, and if you want to complain about him passing all the time or running all the time, which those two things can't be true at the same time. You cannot yell at him for running the ball all the time and then passing the ball all the time. It's one or the other, and you guys flip-flop and vacillate all day long. Mike Bobo is fantastic, and I hope he never leaves Georgia. We had a lot of issues with Mike Bobo after the Texas game because of the play calling, and I'll say this. I loved the way that he came out. The game plan coming into this game was really good. Real good. The execution was terrible, and then we don't have any running backs, y'all. Like, who's supposed to run the dang football? ETN gets hurt, and now Nate Frazier and Cash Jones are only two backs to the point that we're having to run end arounds, like Clint said, in order to generate offense. He is making something out of nothing constantly all the time with this offense. I liked the game plan. I expect we're going to see more of the game plan. I mean, like, this coaching staff knows Carson Beck is who Carson Beck is. Like, they know it. They know that the good plays are in there, but they know that the bad plays are in there too. As long as the backs are healthy, and good Lord, do we need the backs to be healthy? Like, we need the backs to be healthy. As long as the backs are healthy, the offensive line continues to progress. By the way, thank God Micah Morris is okay. I think we're going to continue to see Georgia lean on the run game, get creative with the play calling, because Carson Beck needs it. And again, we're going to have to win in spite of him. This has been Locked On Bulldogs, part Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Come back Monday. We'll have more to talk about as we look toward Ole Miss. There will be a crossover with the best, I think, the best Locked On host that there is. Steven over at Ole Miss. Locked On. Cannot wait. It's going to be a fantastic time. We'll see you all on Monday. See ya.